In this video, we're going to be talking about some of the new additions to ThriveCart, which is a shopping cart system. So if you're in business, you need to accept payments and you need to do a little bit more than just take a payment. Maybe you need to manage a subscription. Maybe you have multiple offers that you want to put in place. A shopping cart system like ThriveCart is a good place to do it. And I've used ThriveCart for several years. I'm very happy with it. One of the nice things is that earlier this year in January 2023, ThriveCart got a $35 million investment and has really elevated the improvements that they're making. So we'll talk about that. But first, I want to mention to you that I've got a free gift for you. It is an ebook. It is called The Top 10 Questions About a High Converting Website. So if you have a website that isn't making the sales that you want, or if you're thinking about building a website, you need to get this. Just go to conversionquestions.com and get that ebook for free. All right, let's go ahead and take a look inside of ThriveCart, and we'll talk about some of the enhancements that they've made. One of the first things that the folks at ThriveCart did was enhance their support infrastructure. They've hired a lot of people. They've also hired a lot of developers. And that took them a little while, and there were a couple of bumps in support along the way, but I think they've got that ironed out now. The advantage that we have here, not only are there more people, but they're also spread out geographically. They have customer support in multiple locations around the world. So for example, I'm in Florida. They were based in New Zealand. And customer support, I could typically wait overnight before I'd get a response. Now, customer support is much faster because they have people located geographically close to where I am and also in other parts of the world. So that is a big advantage when you've got good customer support and they've got enough people to answer questions and do so quickly. The other thing that they've done is they've added basically landing page templates. And I'm going to demonstrate that to you here in just a moment. But this is something that was sorely needed. ThriveCart is a wonderful service. It integrates with a lot of different payment providers, but I'd say that the checkout page was pretty bland. There were things you could do with it, but it didn't really match what some of the other services provided. Speaking of affiliate payments, they've also enhanced that. They have upgraded a lot of them. So for example, I use Stripe. Now they have more payment options. So if you're doing business around the world, they have 40 different currencies that they've added to what was already capable with their platform. So that really helps. If you've got people around the globe that are buying your product or you just want to make it easier for them to work with their local currency, that is in ThriveCart now as well. And they have something they're promising that is coming up, and that is intelligent funnels. Basically, it will know if you've been on their system before, if you've been refunded before, it'll know if you were referred from social media or from other links, it'll know what country you're in. And it can use this various information to customize the funnel checkout process for your visitor. That means that you still have control over what pages they see. You can customize the pages for each step of the funnel. And it seems like it'll be quite interesting. They're promising that before the end of 2023. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And when it does come out, I'll go ahead and do a video demonstrating that as well. But those are the big changes that are coming up for 2023 that they've announced. There may be more, but I think that investment that came earlier in 2023 is really helping them, and they're putting it to good use. They're enhancing the service and making it better. All right, let me take a look here on my screen. And this is, if you come over here on the menu under products, you can see that you have products, you can have upsells, you can have downsells, you can have A/B testing, and of course, you can create coupons if you want to offer discounts. So let's go ahead and create a product. It's going to be a digital product in this case. You can do physical products, but that is also going to need shipping, and that's something that you're going to have to work out. But let's go ahead and create the product. And we're just going to call this demo product. And you can put a label there. You'll notice that there are different statuses over here. It'll always start off in test mode, so you can play with it before you go live, and it's actually accepting real checkout information. And then you can change the URL if you want, and you can define the language. As you can see, there are a handful of languages there to choose from. So we'll go there, and let's say that we're going to sell in US dollars. So you can see that there are a number of different currencies here, and let's set our price. We'll calculate this. You have options for, is this going to be a subscription? For example, if you're doing a membership, do you want to do a split pay, or do you want to offer to let people just pay their own price? It's not something I've tried before, but let's go with a one-time fee. And I'm just going to say this one is $47. There is also the possibility of a trial period. So you can set it for a few days, or you can come up with a custom trial period that you determine how many days, how many weeks, or even how many months that you give them a trial period. But for right now, we're going to set this to none. So this is going to be something that is $47, pay immediately. You may not have noticed, but let me go back and do this. Your customer will be charged $47 immediately. If I put this up for a trial period, it'll say they'll be charged a day later, or could be 7 days later. In other words, the free trial might collect their charge card information, but it will not bill them. And on their invoice, there's a place at the very bottom of it where they can go and manage their own billing information. They could change the card if they want to, or they could cancel before that charge hits them. If they cancel, they don't get charged anything at all. If they don't, they automatically get charged. So let's go back and we're going to set this to none. And you want to limit the quantity. Typically, I would say no, but if you're doing a physical product, there might be a reason. Now, the reason I say no is because if you set a limit over here, and let's say you set it to 1, the next time they come back to this page after you've made a purchase, you can't make another purchase. It'll just be pretty much an empty page with saying no more products to sell. So be very careful and thoughtful about this. So let's go to next. And also, before I go to next, limited quantity available. So this is if you have only a certain number of stock or inventory. If you set this to 1, it means you're selling 1 item and nobody else who comes to this page will have a chance to buy it. If it's a digital product, well, obviously you can sell as many as you want, and that's what you want to do. But if you've got physical products, or maybe you're doing a special offer, like only for the first 100 people that can get this offer on, even if it's a digital one, you can set that to a limited amount and everybody else just kind of doesn't get a chance to buy. So one-time payment, allow 1 purchase at a time, or you can allow multiple purchases at a time. And we'll just save that. And then if you want to add more pricing options, there are ways to do that. So like maybe there's another way to do it as a split pay, but we're not going to do that. Do you need to calculate sales tax? And do you want to customize your customer's payment notification? I would always recommend that you do this because you want to personalize as much as possible. I'm not going to go through the details of customizing this here on this video because we kind of want to talk more about the new features, but I want to give a bit of an overview of ThriveCart itself. And the more you customize something, the better initial experience somebody has with doing business with you. So I would always recommend that you customize your payment notification. And so we'll turn that off. And let's click next. Now, this is something I forgot to mention earlier. Right now, you can only set up 1 bump order. And let's say, again, it is going to be confirmed as digital. And you can give this a name, you can give it a price, and should they be pre-selected by default? So in other words, the customer must click remove to take it off the order. That means when they're checking out their primary order, it's already checked yes that they want the bump offer. I am not comfortable with doing that. I think that should be something that they select on their own. But a bump order, let me go back to what that is. A bump order is something that's a lower cost item that typically enhances the value of whatever it is that you're selling. So let's say, for example, you were selling a spreadsheet. That's great. A bump order might be, hey, click here, spend $17, and we'll give you 100 templates that you can use inside of the spreadsheet. That's what I mean by enhance the value of what you're already ordering. In this case, I am going to deselect this. Now, one of the things that has been, they said their most requested feature enhancement was to have multiple bump orders on the checkout. So we can look forward to that coming as well. We can go over here to next and select processors. In order to get your processors, you have to set this up in advance under integrations. I'll show you that a little bit later. But you can simply activate the ones you want to use. So if you want to use Stripe or PayPal or Authorize.net, you can just activate the ones that you want. And this is where it's giving you the option to choose, do you want the legacy, which is the original payment option, or do you want the enhanced one where you can easily add 40 or more payment methods into your cart pages? So you have to select your Stripe account, and that helps you out if you're going to add things for people who are, as I said, maybe using other currencies. But the other thing I want to point out is this one, the buy now, pay later. You can use these businesses called Affirm, Klarna, Afterpay. Those are things that allow you to get something now, and then you have a payment plan for what you're going to be doing. So the idea is that it'll help you increase your revenue and grow conversions. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it on for this one since it's only a demo. And then we'll click next. If you have affiliates or people who want to be affiliates, you can check this box to go ahead and create a system for affiliates to work off. And that way, every sale an affiliate gives you is extra money for reaching a customer that perhaps you didn't even know existed, and maybe they didn't know you existed. So let's go ahead and click next. I'm not going to set that up. And then if somebody's going to access your product, well, what are they going to do? Are they going to just show them their invoice, send them to a URL? And this part where it says add to the membership site, that is within ThriveCart. So for example, they have their own video training service called Learn, and you could set that up on ThriveCart. And that way you can just add members directly to there. So I'm going to say display total invoice. And what would you do for this? Well, if you have a URL for your support service or an email, in my case, I'm going to put in an email. And do you want to ship a DVD? I don't do that, but the option is there. Now, you have an option here for your checkout. So you can design it. And of course, you can add tracking information if you want to put in a Facebook pixel or other things. But let's take a look at this gallery. And this is what they have now. Legacy shows these were the old forms of taking a look at how you would build it. So you could have like a standard thing on their site. You could have something with a video. You could embed on your website, or you can make it a pop-up on your website. And then you could choose, is it going to be 1 step or 2 steps? Not really much option here. Now, they have a builder. You could drag and drop some things on here. It just simply was not an attractive page. These new carts are much better. So let's take a look at this first one. We'll just click preview. And you can see that they've built some ideas out here to help give you an idea how they're going to make your checkout process better. Now, this particular one is not a checkout page. This is the sales page, but let's close this one. And let's take a look at some of the checkout pages. And these, I think, are where you want to go to maybe after a sales page. So we'll preview this. So it's got a nice colorful design. You can replace the color here, the background, you can replace the text and all this stuff. And you can probably edit this and then just go ahead and do something else. But look how nice your checkout page is over here. So you can choose your pricing. Where it says contact information, when you click on that, let's say if you're using this, you can edit what's in here. So if you want more than an email address, if you want their name and that sort of information, you can add that on here. And then you can go ahead and, click add to cart, continue, and then it'll show you their payment over here. Let's close this one and take a look at another one. I'll preview this one. And they had these nice little things where you could give trust signals like secure checkout. And on this one, you see there's a place for your name and your email address, your billing address, and you've got more information down here. So if you want to show them Apple Pay or credit card or PayPal, they can change that easily. And yes, you can do Apple Pay, PayPal, you can do Google Pay, and there are other options as well. But it's just a nicer looking design for what you have. So let's see what happens if I try and use this template. Now we're going into the editor. So you can come in here and do editing without having chosen this one. They have a lot of blocks and they've got them in different places. So you can kind of drag and drop these things. So let's say that we wanted this over here. We just drag and drop that. And that gives you a header for your checkout page. So if you click on that header, you can go over here to the trash can, delete that, delete the block. So you can put blocks in and take them off. If you want progress bars, they have those, spacers and blocks, hero areas, and you can see that they've got a number of really nicely designed hero areas. And of course, you can replace these images with your own images. You can change the colors, you can change the text, so it is customizable, but it kind of gives you a head start, and that's why we like templates. As far as callouts, you can have these little sections that just kind of, if you're selling an ebook, for example, you can have a nice call out for that. So there are a lot of options over here. You can mention the features. I kind of like it rather mentioning or selling the benefits rather than selling the features, but it's nice to have an option for both here because sometimes people want to know what is inside of what I'm buying. If you need a bit more convincing, you can put in some frequently asked questions. You can also use testimonials. If you have things that people have left you reviews or left you a testimonial, there's a number of options that you can put that on your page as well too. So you can make some very interesting pages. And these galleries, in case you need to have some images in here or bullet checkouts. And under content, it's pretty simple. You've got just these two. Now, I presume or hope that they will be adding to the blocks and adding to the gallery that they've done. But as you click on different sections, so for example, this one is contact information and billing information. Do you need all of that? Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. You can click here to show your terms and conditions. And in this area, you can enter the text of your terms and conditions, or what I like to do is I'll put it on my WordPress site and I'll put the URL in here. So when somebody clicks, the terms and conditions, it quickly loads up that information. So do you need these various fields, and where do they want to be, before or after? I don't need a business name. I don't need a phone number. Do I need a customer address? Well, if you're shipping something to somebody, yes, you do. But in my case, I don't. You'll see it just takes that off. So that way, all I really want is their name and their email address. If you come down here to payment information, you can see that there's a number of things we can change here. So you can change the colors. For example, complete order. On this one, that's not the color that I want to use. I probably want to use a green button, and I've got my own brand colors that I would put in there. And I just like that I like having the big button, but as far as the color, I like green because people kind of associate that with Go. If you want to change that, or if you want to make it a custom image, now these are not going to be buttons images, but you can upload your own image for what button you want people to push. For example, you may have gone into Canva or Photoshop or some other kind of design tool and created a customized button rather than just this shape that they have here. And you can change the shape a little bit. Where it says border radius, it can be just a rectangle, or you can make it kind of a pill shape, or somewhere in between if you want to have maybe just rounded curves. So that's all up to you. You can change the text size, and that is pretty nice. Again, over here, all of these things you can change and get this information set up the way you need it to be. If we go back to the element options, these elements are things that we had on the legacy system before. So a heading, subheading, text, and you can see on down the line here, dividers are helpful as well, the by length and seats. And then of course you can have columns, a feature area, or content box. One of the things I like about the payment information over here is you've got a few different ways that you can show this. So it could be a multi-step that you put some information here. Then when you go to the payment, so the standard is a single step, put this information here. The next step would be the payment information over here. And then of course you've got this option over here. So do you want to show the Afterpay, the Klarna, and things like that or not? And then you can also have this in accordion or tabs. So you can kind of change things around there. If you want to change the name of your product, you can click over here and just type over and add that. And of course, everything else here, you can see that there's a little divider line right there. You can see there's a small headline here, and you just click in that, and you can choose the font that you want, the color of the font, what size it's going to be, and a number of other options here. And the same thing over here with these little bullet points. So you can click save when you want. Now, one of the things I'll advise you is this little button over here for save changes. Do this frequently, because you might do something that you didn't want to do, and that gives you something to fall back on. If you haven't saved your changes, you can do a lot of work and then screw something up and have to start all over. So go ahead, save your changes. You'll see a little notice like this saying your settings have been saved, and that'll help you out quite a bit. Once you're done with your checkout page, there's one more link over here where you can set up some rules based on customer behavior. And this tells you what you can do, like after the product's purchased, it's refunded, maybe the cart is abandoned or payments decline. And depending on what you've integrated, which we're going to look at next, you can send something to ConvertKit or Slack or other things. And I can add or remove them from an existing tag or add them to a sequence, and then just choose which of my tags that I want to do. So I'm going to close that out. And you can add different rules for different integrations. And then when you're done, you just go ahead and save and get URL. Now, the settings over here are where you're going to add your integration. So if we click on View Integrations, You can see I've got Stripe and PayPal and Authorize.net. Here's where I have ConvertKit. The items that are grayed out are options that they have that simply are not yet integrated on my account. So you can see there's a number of email systems. And also there are different, like Teachable is over here. Optimize Member, Wishlist Member is a WordPress plugin. Thrive Apprentice. Also Demio, like if you're doing webinars and doing demonstrations, you can do it with Shopify. I also have it down here with Slack and with Zapier, because if they don't have an integration here, chances are that you can find a way to integrate this with Zapier. And I'm not a big fan of Zapier, but it does work. So these are things over here. Now, there are other possibilities for doing this. For example, for a long time, I used Fluent CRM, and they don't have an integration with Fluent CRM right now. They say it's coming before the end of the year. So that's something that's been requested quite a lot. If you're using Fluent CRM, which is a WordPress plugin, that is an integration that I've heard is forthcoming. But Fluent CRM currently, the way to integrate this is with a webhook. And you don't integrate it here, but within your rules, you can go ahead and have it send. You generate a webhook in Fluent CRM, you put that inside of ThriveCart, and then it can send it along. So that way you can add somebody to your email list and take other actions. If you need to add to some system that is not on here with their integrations, then Zapier is probably going to be the way you want to go. So that is a quick look at what's new and kind of a brief overview of how ThriveCart works. I'm really happy with it. The nice thing about ThriveCart right now is that it is a one-time payment and you get access to it for lifetime. And I've had that for a few years now. They've always said that this deal can go away at any time. I think they even have a countdown now on their homepage of when it's going to go away. But the idea is if you get there and you want to buy something and then use it for a lifetime, and that is the lifetime of the product, not your lifetime, whichever comes first, I guess. But that is really a very good deal, because as you use it more and more, and as they're improving it without charging extra fees to their customers, the value keeps getting better. So if you're interested in this, I'll have a link in the description below and I'll put it up here. If you go to suburbiapress.com/ThriveCart, yes, that is an affiliate link. I will get a small commission if I've helped you today to decide that you want to get ThriveCart. There is no additional cost to you, and I will be forever grateful to you. If you have questions about how ThriveCart works, what it can do in certain circumstances, please ask me in the comments below, and I will be more than happy to answer you and tell you what my experience has been like using it. As I said, I've been very pleased with it, and that's why I'm recommending it to you. All right, thank you so much. I will ask you if you like this video, please go ahead and give it a like, and then I will see you again in the next video. Take care.